This movie started a franchise. Duh, Captain Obvious. Okay, cut it there. We're just gonna cut it. We're gonna cut it. Cut. Okay, action. This movie started a revolution. Yo, it's me, it's the SEOTT. And I'm gonna do a review for Stargate. That's right, this movie, first of all, for the longest time I never knew this movie existed. Little backstory with me. I got into the TV series before I did this. It was actually Stargate Atlantis. I went over to my friend's place to spend the night. I was in high school. And he showed me like the first episode. We were watched a couple episodes of season 2 of Stargate Atlantis. And I really enjoyed it. And the next time I came over, he said, "Hey, you like Stargate Atlantis?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Let's watch Stargate SG-1, see if you like it." But he started from season 1. And so as we're sitting there watching the first episode, he wanted me to see it because it had titties in it. For the first couple of seasons of Stargate SG-1 aired on Showtime, and the pilot has boobies in it. So he wanted me to see it. I remember being not as enthused, but as we went on, I kept asking him questions like, what mission are they talking about from before? How did Daniel get to that planet? What's going on? He's like, "I don't know. They're not thinking before this." So I did research, and I found out there was a movie that came out in 1994 called Stargate. And so we became on a quest to find this movie. Eventually we found the DVD at Shopko. I ended up getting the Blu-ray from Walmart, but yeah, and it is different from the series. And I'm not going to compare it to the series, not fully all the way. There are some things I might say, but what's the story? The story is that in 1922, Catherine and her father had found, her father finds the Stargate, and now, years later in 1994, an elderly Catherine seeks out Daniel Jackson to help try to translate the symbols on the cartouche. It's in the middle of the Stargate, like the cover, basically. And so instantly they find it leads to a planet. And so the military, the assholes that they are, they bring in Colonel Jack O'Neill, who had recently lost his son due to his son playing with his gun, and the gun going off and killing his son. And yes, they changed the character in the TV series. He has 2 L's. His son's name is different than it is here in the movie. And some people have led to say that means this movie isn't actually canon. I say, shut up. 1 L and a name change does not completely change the backstory. Yes, they changed some things. I think for the better. They changed Daniel Jackson along the way too. During the TV series, a couple of times he sneezes, but they change it. It happens when you adapt from one thing to another. Some things change. Now the mission, the military, they're sending over there, and Daniel's under the influence that under the he's under the I can't think of words. He believes that they're there to talk with the people, meet them and see how they live and everything. Apparently, O'Neill is there to assess if there's any threat, and if there is, they've got a nuke. And they find Ra, who is this alien overlord of this planet, and they decide Ra is too big of a threat to be left alive, and they're just going to blow up the entire planet with a nuke. Never mind, it will kill these people, and Daniel eventually falls in love with Shell Ray, and eventually O'Neill himself starts to meet these people and, have more. He meets one of them, Skara, who reminds him of his son, and eventually he gets a bond with this one, with Skara and decides, I'm not going to go through with this. Ra finds the bomb and takes off the thing so they can't stop it. So they decide they're going to beam the thing using the rings, which is like a teleportation device, onto Ra's ship and blow the guy. He's above the planet. He blows up. The planet is safe, but they still tell the military, not in the movie, but we find out later in the show that they told the military that the thing blew up and they were able to get out just in time. Which, if I was one of the military people, I would be questioning that. Be like, because like, when Jack went in, there was no leaving. He was going to let it go off and he was going to die. They were on a suicide mission. So the fact that they came back at all should have tipped off the military that, hey, something went down. And they basically told him that Jackson was dead. But, you know, characters. Kurt Russell is Jack O'Neill with one L. He's alright. And if you watch the show, if you're going to watch this, watch the movie first, then the show. Because if you watch the show and you got used to that version of the character and you go back to this, it's going to be different. He just lost his son. He and his wife are having problems. He's at a point in his life where he doesn't want to live anymore. And then it's his experience here that changes him. Same with Daniel Jackson. Daniel Jackson's alone. He has nobody, no family. He's living in his luggage, basically. Everything he owns is in his luggage. And he goes here, he meets Shawray, he meets the Aberdonian people, and he decides, this is where I belong. That kind of, they say, fuck you, basically, in the pilot for the TV series, but that's beyond the point. They both find themselves by the end of the film. Now, there's other characters like Ferretti and Kowalski, who, likewise in the show, get the shaft as well. Kowalski more than Ferretti. Ferretti just sort of shows for a cameo and is never seen again. And then Kowalski, I'm not going to spoil that, but yeah. And, yes, the backstory for Ra is different than what they give him and his alien kind in this series. That's because it wasn't intended to become a TV series, and they decided to make one. Here, Ra is very much an alien entity in himself. Yes, he needs a human body, but we see an alien almost like the Asgard in like season 2 of Stargate SG-1. But yeah, it's almost like that. And then in Stargate SG-1, there are little alien slugs that go inside back of your head and take over your brain, which I think is a little bit better. And the actor who plays him, Jay Davison, is a good actor, but you can tell that he didn't really want to be there. And that's true. After he did The Crying Game, he got the attention he didn't want to have. He got an Oscar nomination, and he didn't want anything. So he demanded $1 million for this role, and he got it. And he was shocked. So you see him pissed off during this film, that's not acting. He really is pissed off. Other than that, James Spader as Daniel Jackson. Look, if you've seen the TV show before this, you're used to a certain way that Michael Shanks plays Daniel Jackson. Then if you go from that to this, it's going to be jarring. This is very much a different version of Daniel. By the end of the film, he gets a little bit closer to that, but he's not completely the same character. And it's not going to be that way. This film is actually pretty good. It's not bad. When you look at Roland Emmerich's 3 90s films that he did, Stargate, Independence Day, and Godzilla, this is probably in the middle. With Independence Day being the best, Stargate in the middle, and Godzilla at the very end. But it's not a bad film. It's actually pretty good. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I enjoy watching this film, and especially knowing what comes after this. It only gets better. It's great. So what are your thoughts on Stargate? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. We'll see you in the next one. Was that good? We'll cut now. What do you mean you kept rolling? Oh, son of a